Welcome to my video, to my channel, to my life, to this forest, to these rocks, to that bug, to everything, to your life. I want to talk about in this video how to enjoy life. It's kind of a really deep subject, a lot of ways you can go with that, a lot of different ways to look at this, but I'm going to talk about what I've learned, what helped me. Catching my breath. Did some walking to get over here. Don't really quite know where I am. Just wanted to find something that thought looked nice to shoot at. How to enjoy life. I'll talk a little bit about myself. Now, I've mentioned this in other videos. I found that when I was younger, like especially now, like the difference then, I didn't really understand what I was going through. But I found now, understanding, looking back, that when I was younger, I didn't really understand how to enjoy anything. I didn't understand even how to feel anything. I didn't realize at the time, like I understand it now, but I didn't realize at the time that I was just thinking about everything. I was just in my head being logical. It's kind of like, yeah, let me use an analogy. When I was dreaming the other day, like I feel like if I was really thinking about what I was doing at the time, I should have realized it was a dream, because I felt absolutely nothing. I was just having a lot of thoughts. I was just going through, just going through the thoughts. I was gonna say I was going through the motions, but that was the thing. I wasn't going through the motions. There was no feelings. But what I realized, God, I'm being attacked by bugs. Yeah, that's what I realized. I'm being attacked by bugs. I'm putting my hood on. Don't mind me. Just don't wanna be attacked by all these bugs right now. But what I realized, the reason I couldn't tell that I was dreaming was because I'm so used to walking through my life. This is a recent dream. I'm not even talking about when I was younger. I had this dream recently, but I'm able to understand it now. I realized I couldn't tell that I was dreaming because in my dream, like I'm just thinking about everything I'm doing. It's just thought after thought after thought after thought. And it's like I'm climbing up this really steep hill. So I guess that's why it's really stood out to me. I'm climbing. It wasn't like in the forest. It was like in a street. The incline was just like ridiculous, like steep high. And I'm climbing up it. And when I get to the top, maybe this is sort of when I wake up. Maybe it's why I wake up, because I started having some realizations. I realized I didn't feel that. I didn't get tired. Like, you know, like I'm climbing up this really steep hill and I'm not winded. I'm not tired. And then I realized there was absolutely no feeling. I was just thinking. But why didn't I know I was dreaming? Because I go through my normal daily life like this. I go through my normal life where I'm just thought after thought after thought. A lot of us live our lives this way, where it's like we're going to work. So what do? Are we inside of our car? Maybe you're not in a car, but use the analogy to you. But are you inside of your car? You're like, this is my steering wheel. This is my gas pedal. I'm pushing down on the gas pedal. And I mean, these are still thoughts, but at least it's thinking about what you're doing. But the idea is, are you there like, this is what it feels like. I'm feeling this. Like, it's not really a thought, it's more like a feeling. It's like you feeling your steering wheel as you're moving it around, or the gas pedal as you're pressing it, or you just saying like, oh, I gotta get to work. I'm running late. Like you're in your car driving, but you're like, oh, I'm gonna be late for work. That's a thought in the future. Like, how are you supposed to enjoy life if you're not even in the now, in the present moment? When you're thinking, when you're having thoughts, generally, if you're having a thought about where you are, what you're actually doing, that's a little bit different, because at least you're focusing on what you're actually doing. But generally, most thoughts that we have are about something, a future scenario or a past scenario. They're barely about where we are. Part of the reason we're doing this is because we're trying to escape the present moment. That's where a lot of anxiety comes from, is the idea that you're trying to escape from the present moment because you don't want to be where you are. You don't want to be that guy who's running late for work. So what you're doing is you're just thinking about what you're going to say to your boss if he says anything for when you're late. But taking this a step back, how are you going to enjoy your life? How are we going to enjoy life? I'm using these analogies just to explain the ideas and the concepts to you. Like, I want you to try to take these and apply it to anything. Just realize whenever you are in your life, wherever you are, when are you thinking about anything that's besides where you are now? When are you not truly where you are in your mind? When are you like thinking about, oh, what's my friend gonna say? What's my mom gonna say? What's my dad gonna say? You know, what's my landlord gonna say when I don't pay the rent? You know, these are a lot of people examples. It could just, they don't even have to be people, but it's like, you could be thinking about, oh, how am I gonna get money to pay my bills? Whatever it is your thought. I'm using like examples and thoughts that I feel like relate to me, but I want you guys to take these and apply it to you. But try to think about, ironic because I'm trying to teach you to not think in a sense, but try to realize when you're not really focused on where you are, where you're too busy thinking about another situation. Like right now I'm here, but I'm here trying to focus on, because I'm really distracted by these bugs, but at least these bugs are here right now. This video's here right now. I'm focused on, you know, trying to get this video out, trying to do this, trying to keep the flow of words going, the dialogue, trying to get my energy good, trying to say this with like confidence and in the right way. I'm not like, oh, I got it. Like, I'm not thinking about the fact what I was thinking about earlier before I got here was like, oh, I want to get home because I haven't taken my girlfriend out in a while and she's gonna want me to take her out. It's like, that's something I got to do, but right now I'm here, I got to focus on this. Oh, this is what I'm doing. And it's like, I'm trying to get into the idea of how to enjoy life. It really starts with realizing when your mind is not where you are. When your body is technically, I guess that always is where you are, but the main purpose of the mind is to dream. And when you're like lost in these future thoughts and these past thoughts, it's like you're really in a daydream, even if you don't realize it, thinking about scenarios that most of the time never even happen. I can't tell you how many times in my mind I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be late for work. What am I gonna say? What's my excuse? And I'm like, oh, this is a good excuse. Oh, here's another good excuse. Oh my God. Throughout all of my jobs is like, I even start looking for excuses. I'm like, oh, this thing happened. That's a good excuse. And then I even find like really good excuses. Like I find like the best excuse. I'm just like, if I did show up, my manager, and he said something to me, he wouldn't say anything to me. But then here's the funny thing. Why am I even doing this? I show up to work, nobody's there. My boss isn't there. My boss doesn't work where I work. My boss, he's traveling. He's like a traveling boss. He goes to different stores, and he's like, he doesn't even have the time or the energy to be at my store when I get there to make sure I'm on time. That doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even register. But in my mind, I'm still here like, oh, every single day too. It's like, I know this is like every single day. I'm still like, what is my excuse? And I go around looking for excuses, and it's like I can't even just focus on the fact that I'm here, I'm driving to work, or you're taking the bus, or you're walking, or you're being driven, and it's like you can't even just be where you are now. Like, this is a moment in your life. If you can't be happy and relaxed and at peace at yourself no matter where you are, you're not going to find it somewhere else. We all like to have this idea in our mind that is like, oh, we're not happy because this happened. We're not enjoying life because of this happened. We have this problem. We have this life situation. And when this is fixed, we're gonna be okay. Or the other one is like, you gotta get this, you gotta get that. I need this car, I need that girl. I need to look like this. I need to live there. And it's like, when you get there though, you gotta understand, you're reinforcing these mind patterns and these thoughts in your head. The way you think is not gonna just change. The way, I'll say that, oh my God, so many bugs here. But I'll say that again, the way you think is not going to just change. Just because your problem gets fixed, just because you get the thing you wanted, just because whatever you think your happiness depended on, like all your problems get fixed. All the things you want, you get. You got to understand that the way your mind thinks and the mind is functioning, that's not going to change. Getting back. Wherever, there's a saying that goes, wherever you are, wherever you go, there you are. God, I'm getting distracted from all these bugs. I gotta refocus. See, now I'm doing it. It's like now I'm even here. The bugs are here now, but I'm focused on them. I can't even like concentrate on my video. My thoughts are getting off. Now I'm like stifling myself. I'm overthinking it too much. I'm not sure what I'm gonna say next. But yeah, the saying goes, wherever you go, there you are. So you can be saying on vacation, You could be sitting on vacation, relaxing, chilling. You got alcohol, you got your smoke, you got whatever drug you into next to you, you got whatever girl, whatever the boy, how much money you want. You are the person you want to be in success and career-wise. Like, you can have no problems in everything, but you still have those same mind patterns. You're still gonna have those same thoughts. And I'm gonna give you what I honestly found to be the real way to solve problems. This is the only thing that I honestly really find really works. There's two different ways to do this. God, so many bugs. God, I gotta apply these techniques right now. I'm talking, me over here talking. But I feel like when it comes to life problems, life situations, human condition problems, the real way to solve it, there's two ways. One is you reframe the way you're looking at it. God, I gotta reframe the way I'm looking at these bugs. But how can I reframe it? It's like, instead of thinking, oh, these bugs are bothering me, I could be like, oh, look at the wonderful life. Look at these wonderful creatures. They're alive, they're living their life. They're full of energy, they're not full of anxiety. What can I learn from them? Can the bug show me how I can be a happier person? Because animals can certainly do that, dogs can certainly do that. Why not the bugs? Why not I take like the bugs? They're not thinking about anything. They don't have bills, they don't have worries. They're just going around trying to drink my blood. It's a really weird reframe, but it's kind of to give you the idea. Whereas, like, that's one of the really big ways to solve any problem you have. Reframe the way you're looking at it. Like, you're like, oh, damn it, bug in my eye. I gotta be like, oh, maybe he helped me, because if I had kept going that way, I would have slipped and fell and died. This is good. I like that. I like that. But it's like, they call it alchemy, really. It's like, this is kind of like alchemy techniques, where it's like, oh, I can't pay my bills on time. Well, you can sit there focusing on the fact that you can't pay your bills in time and you're broke and you're starving. Or you can think about, oh, what can I do to make money? Oh, this thing I'm doing to making money isn't paying enough. What else can I do? Not telling you got to go work 2 or 3 jobs, overwork yourself and kill yourself, but maybe leave the job you are, start a completely different job. Don't be afraid to start a different job. I think people stay at their jobs too long. I'm all the time, different job, leaving, getting another job. I don't stay at a job. The longest I had a job was for 3 years. And since that, I haven't had a job for over 1 year, and I've had a good couple of jobs since then. But yeah, the idea is, if you have a problem, reframe it, relook at it, take it and make it a positive. Be an entrepreneur about it. Be like, okay, this is my problem. But instead of focusing on this problem, first of all, as Brian Tracy would say, take the problem out. Be like, this is my life situation. How am I going to change this? How am I going to relook at it? How am I going to fix it? Focus on how you can fix that life situation. Like right now, I'm being attacked by bugs. What can I do? Start bringing bug spray out here when I do these videos. That's what I can do. That's what the heck I gotta start doing. So that's going over reframing the situation, re-looking at it, rethinking it, you know, be like an entrepreneur, like I said, whereas like instead of focusing on the problems, you just focus on how you're gonna make a solution. Or if, you know, even just take it and at least make the thought positive, make it something that makes you feel better. That way you actually can be happy, because lots of times your emotions are just responses to your thoughts. They're automatically pulses that happen within your body. Now the other thing, like let's say it's a paradox, right? You're at a paradox, you're at fork in the road. There's two options and they both seem right. Now when it comes to like, if you're like trying to pick between 2 jobs, 2 girls, I mean, this doesn't necessarily always apply to that, though you can still, we'll try to get to that. But what I'm trying to get at is the idea of life problems, human problems, more like human condition problems that we're all facing right now. You gotta, if there's a paradox in the road where it's kind of like, you want to be nice but not getting taken advantage of, like I did a video on that. You got to find the balance point between when you're nice, when you're too nice. If you have like, I'm trying to be really general about these, but it's like whenever you have a situation, it's just you're gonna find a lot of paradoxes in your life. You're not gonna know what to do, and both answers seem right. And what you really want to do is try to understand both sides of it completely and fully. That way you can find the balance, you can find the middle point. If you're trying to pick between two girls, two jobs, two men, honestly, all I gotta say to you is the right choice should be obvious. Lots of times it's the one that seems the hardest to do, but when it comes to a girl, maybe it's the one that's the easiest. But understand though, if you're picking the easier girl, actually yeah, lots of times it should be the hardest one. Like yeah, let's go over that. If you're a guy and you try to pick a girl, or between a job, yeah, did you apply this to anything? Or you're a woman trying to pick a man? Lots of times it is the easy one, cause the harder one. Because if you're trying to pick the easy one, what you're trying to do lots of times is be lazy. You're trying to not be challenged in life. Don't be afraid of life being challenging and hard sometimes. That's good for you. That's gonna get your mind working. That's gonna get you engaged. That's what's gonna keep you from being depressed and going into a depression. And don't tell me that you're not depressed and you don't have depression problems. If you're sitting around doing nothing, your life is stagnating, you're gonna have depression problems. It's like inevitable. But yeah, lots of times picking the harder choice is the better one. Like when it comes to your job, you're like, oh, this is the easy option, this is the sure option. All right, it's easy and sure. Maybe that job is a better job. Maybe it pays you more. Maybe that girl's a better girl. Maybe she's hotter. That man is hotter. Maybe it is. Maybe it does seem like the right choice for every single reason. But if it's too easy, if it's too good, it's gonna get boring. It's gonna stagnate. If the girl is just so perfect to you, so loving, so kind, so giving, she does everything for you, you don't have to do anything, she's gonna get tired of you, all right? She's gonna get tired of you, and she's gonna leave you when 10 years down the line you haven't done anything in your life, and she's looking at you like, you were something, you were a man when I met you, you were on your path, you were moving towards something, you had goals, you had desires, there was a fire in your eyes and in your bellies, and there was a life to you, and now you're just a couch potato. I didn't marry a couch potato. You turn into one after I marry you, and then she's gonna leave you. Or that job, maybe you get too comfortable in it. What I find lots of times in a lot of my jobs now, especially my one now, it's really this idea, this concept of when you get comfortable in something, I actually feel like it gets uncomfortable then. It's so weird like that. I honestly starting to see that idea that when you get comfortable in something, it actually starts to get uncomfortable. It's really weird. So I was able to see this really clearly in my job now because I get sent to different stores. And when I get sent to a different store, that's a really uncomfortable feeling. There's a lot of anxiety and stress that I get from it. I'm like, oh, I gotta go to a different store. I gotta find it. I hope I'm gonna go to the right one. I hope this isn't the wrong one. I hope I get there in time. I hope the people there are nice. I hope the manager's nice. I hope they don't say anything because I showed up 15 minutes late on my first day. I got my excuse ready. Is my excuse good? Is it good enough? Where am I gonna get the keys from? Where do I get a walkie from? Where's everything at? I don't recognize this store. Like, these are real thoughts going through my mind, but when I get there and I just do it, the moment I get there, I feel so much better. I feel good. I feel engaged. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I came to this store now. It's like, I don't know. It's like every time, it's like when you come and you're just in a good mood, it's like, oh, I like the people here. Oh, maybe I like the people in this store more than I like the people in the last store. Maybe I prefer working in this store. Maybe this is a better place to work. It happens to me every time. But then when I go to my store, when I go to the one where I am comfortable, where I am familiar with it, like on my way to work, I'm calm, I'm chill, I'm relaxed, I'm not thinking about it. Then when I get there, it's like, oh, when's this gonna end? When am I gonna get home? Are my coworkers gonna give me shit because they already got too comfortable around me? And it's honestly, I really see that. I did that spin around because there's just a bug. But I honestly really see that when I get comfortable at a place, that's actually when I start to get uncomfortable. And it's like when I go into my uncomfort zone, when I go into doing something that I'm really uncomfortable with, I find that when I get past that initial uncomfort, I'm actually more comfortable there. And when I go do something that I'm comfortable with, once I get past that initial comfort, then it's like, oh, now what? I want to go home. I'm kind of getting this image in my mind where I'm like, some of you might be thinking, oh, this doesn't apply to me. I'm not you. You don't know me. You don't understand me. You don't know my life. You don't know my problems. You don't know my situation. You don't know how I work. And I'm like, I'm not talking about me as my personality. I'm not talking about me as in all these things just apply to me. I'm talking about me as in the human condition. What I witness my body doing. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is how I work, this is how I don't work as a personality wise. I'm not like, this is what works for me. I'm like, this is how my body responds to the environments that I'm in when I'm just a witnessing presence to what is going on, and I'm not trying to put any outside influence on it. I'm just seeing what does happen. And it's like, these are just natural human bodily responses. These are the human condition. Everything I talk about on my channel is for you to take, for you to grab the knowledge that I'm trying to explain to you and just apply it to yourself. Like, my girlfriends all the time is like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you don't know me. You don't understand me. And I'm just like, that's because you're putting a magnifying glass of what I'm saying and you're trying to overanalyze it, and you're like, this doesn't apply to me. And I'm like, I'm not talking about specifically your problem. I'm not like, Susie, that's not her name, but I'm not like, Susie, this is your job. This is your boss. This is the specific issue. No, I'm taking it really back, really broad, and I'm just throwing away the microscope, and I'm like, straight out, flat out, don't tell me, you know, this is gonna sound cocky, but I'm like, don't tell me that I'm wrong. No, don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not here to just talk about something I read in a book. Like, the reason I know what I'm talking about and I understand what I'm talking about is because the difference between knowing and understanding things comes from actually knowing. Is just like, oh, I know 2 + 2 is 4. Understanding it is like, I feel deep within inside me that my body is telling me this. Like, that's not gonna happen for 2 + 2 is 4, but that certainly happens when I find out how my body responds good to things, when it responds bad to things. It's like, I can eat food and it's like, I know what food makes me feel sick. I know what food makes me feel not good. Which one makes my head like get all fuzzy and foggy and not help me think well. Like, this is what this is what I understand, because it's something I feel inside of me. It's like, I'm not here like trying to force anything. I'm like here trying to understand just how the human body works and trying to give to you what I've learned. So I would like for you, I guess, instead of putting the magnifying glass and overanalyzing what I'm saying, pull back as far as you can and realize that if you get into the broader picture and aspect of things, that you will find that everything I'm talking about, you can apply to yourself if you stop overanalyzing it and just taking things I say word for word, and you look for the message that I'm trying to explain to you. That I'm just using examples from my life because it makes it easier to explain the message. But it's like, take the examples, pull it back, and understand what it is I'm trying to teach you, what it is I'm trying to show you. There's like something that Eckhart Tolle says is that what I say is just a mere signpost. It's just a pointer, but you're the one who has to look. You're the one who has to go there. I like to say a lot on my channel that my words cannot change you, and only your actions can change you. How you guys doing? I feel like I'm ready to start the video all over. I had to really relax and focus and meditate and concentrate to get to this point here. Oh, this is like swampy and wet, and I was like balancing myself on these sticks, and I had to really like come to my center of peace, because I was just like, I gotta get this shot. Standing here on this rock, and it's like, this is the shot I need for my videos. Like, I gotta do it for the video. I got my feet all wet and dirty. These are new shoes coming through the swampy, watery thing. But it's like, it's good for the video, because it's like, now you even see my state of mind has changed, my energy has changed, my focus has changed. Don't believe that you can't change yourself, that you can't change your mind, you can't change your thoughts. Don't believe you can't change the way you work, that you can't improve as a person, that you can't become better and stronger. A lot of people don't like to believe that because they don't want to have to put the time and the work in. And it's not even that they don't want to have to put the time and the work in. They don't understand that their mind is trying to tell them not to put the time and the work in. that your mind is stuck, especially when you have any level of stress, any level of anxiety. Your mind's in a stress mode, it's in a fight or flight mode, and it's telling you that you're dying and that it needs to preserve you. Your mind is just a survival machine. All 3 layers of it was built for your survival, for your instinctual, impulsive survival, and it's trying to tell you at all times to conserve energy and to not do things. It doesn't believe that me coming out here on this rock, standing right here, risking falling in, getting wet, getting all my stuff wet, damaging things can be good for me. It could give me energy, but I'm so much more calm and focused and clear-minded and feel so much more alive just being here. And I wanted to wrap up with the idea of, I don't know if I'm even wrapping up. Sometimes I say wrap up and then the video goes on for another 10 minutes, but really just learning how to be where you are, feel where you are. Like, this is kind of like, sounds like a little spiritual woo-woo, because you're just like, this is where I am here. I'm standing here. I'm thinking things, am I not here? But I'm like, there's a difference. When you're in your mind and you're thinking too much, it really is like you're going through the day and you're still dreaming. Like, it is like you're asleep and you're not really fully aware of what's going on. Everyone automatically, like, your brain tells you that you are aware of things, but what we don't know is that awareness is not just the gift of the brain. Like, it's our God-given gift, but it's not a gift of the brain. The brain doesn't want you to be aware. The brain wants to be in control of you. It wants to keep control because it's trying to always plan out your survival, even when you don't need it. When you're worried about something, that's because your mind is trying to plan how you're going to survive that situation. It's not thinking, oh, how am I going to pay your bills? Like, impulsively, instinctively, it thinks that this is a threat to your survival since you're worrying about it. That's why it's thinking about it and it's trying to figure it out. And you got to learn to take control of yourself, to be where you are 100% and not worry about the past, not worry about the future, but just feel where you are and ground yourself wherever you are. Be alive wherever you are. And most importantly, be comfortable, be at ease, release your tension, and learn to be yourself no matter what. Don't put on a face for anyone, guys. It wastes time, it wastes energy. If you gotta pretend you're someone you're not to please someone, you're probably not supposed to be with that person. If you're in a relationship right now and you're trying, or if you're trying to get into a relationship and you're trying to be someone you're not to be in that relationship, that's going to be tiring, that's going to be draining, and after a couple of years, that's just living hell, because you have to keep up that front, you have to keep up that face, and once you let it go, she's going to leave you. She's going to be like, oh, you're not really this guy. Now, this also doesn't mean you shouldn't work on yourself and do it for yourself. If you're trying to change for yourself, that's good. That's the only person you should try to change for. The only person you should try to change for is yourself. When you're trying to improve yourself, you're actually trying to become a better person, and you're trying to even act like the people you want to become so you could become more like them. That's different. But if you're just putting on a face because you want to please this girl, this boy, your friends, you're going to have to always put on that face. You're never going to be able to be yourself around them, and you can't be happy when you're not being yourself, because then you're always going to be trying to be something you're not, and that's just really depressing. That's energy draining. That's living hell. That's a nightmare. I want you guys to be yourself no matter what. Even if you're at work and your boss is giving you shit, learn to be okay with it. Learn to be okay with people giving you shit to your face. Don't let it affect who you are. Don't let it change you. You got to find your inner state of peace. You got to find your peace no matter what's going on in life, and you got to be able to be yourself and be happy no matter what, no matter where's going on. You could be sitting in traffic, you got to learn to be happy there, because if you can be happy there, you can be happy anywhere. If you're going through your life miserable, you're not going to get on that beach sitting on vacation with whoever you want to be with however much money you want to have, and then just suddenly be happy. But imagine if you're sitting in traffic and you can just be happy and free and laughing and smiling, being yourself. When you're stressed out, when your boss is yelling at you, when your rent is late and you're still happy, then how happy are you going to be when your life actually is doing better, when you are on that vacation? How happy can you be then? And how much more likely are you to get there, because you're not wasting your time and energy on things that don't matter. You're just focusing on what does really matter. Just doing you, doing life, live it to the fullest. Don't think that your happiness is going to come from getting something, because you're gonna get it. And the way desire works, that's desire. The way desire works, once you get what you desire, then it just looks for the next thing to desire. You're only gonna be temporarily satisfied by these things. Happiness comes from realizing that you're supposed to be happy no matter what. You're supposed to be yourself no matter what. Doesn't mean, like I said, you can't improve yourself. You can always be improving yourself. You should always read books. If you want to be happy and enjoy life, you should be constantly watching videos and brainwashing yourself. Brainwashing yourself. Your brain is being brainwashed whether you want it to or not. Your habits are going to be there whether you want them to or not. So you might as well take the time to choose how you're brainwashing yourself, because you're going to do it one way or another. You're telling me that you don't watch TV, you don't watch videos online, you're not wasting your time hours and hours a day and just like, how can I be entertained? Who can I watch to make me feel better? How about who can I watch to teach me how I can feel better about myself? How I can feel better when I'm not watching them? How I can live a better, happier life? Channels like this, I'm not saying you have to watch me. I mean, you should be watching me. I put out a lot of good stuff. But channels like this could be really inspiring, really good for you. Read books about how you're gonna be happy, how you're gonna enjoy life. And realize that happiness is never going to come from out there. It's never going to come from something. You can still get things. You can still want things. You can still enjoy them when you get them. But if you can be happy and enjoy life no matter what, no matter who you are, where you are, then when you get those things, you can enjoy them so much more. And also, they won't even matter. True happiness is your God-given right. It's your gift. Maybe you don't want to hear about religion. Maybe you're an atheist. Hello. People walking by. Okay, so true happiness is your universal giving gift. It's your Allah giving gift. It's just your right as a human. How's that? It's your legal right. Don't want to call it that for the atheists out there. How about true happiness is just your legal right? You have a right to do whatever you want to do, be whoever you want to be. Now, saying happiness is a choice doesn't always help people, but I am trying to tell you that lots of times what you do, how you feel is a choice. If something happens to you, you can choose how you respond to it. You'd be like, oh, I got in a car accident. I don't want to curse too much, but you can imagine what kind of things you might say if you got someone just hit you with their car, how you would feel about that person. But it doesn't, but see, these things you gotta understand, it's a choice. You're still choosing to respond like that. It may seem, it's really impulsive, it's really instinctual. That's why it's really hard for us to understand that it could be a choice, because our impulses and our instincts don't want to tell us that it can be a choice. But there's no reason, as crazy as it sounds, that you can't be happy you got in a car accident. You'd be like, oh, great, now I don't have to go to work. Now I don't have to go to school. I got hit by a car, boss. Bye. It's all a choice. As weird as that seems, it's a choice. A lot of what I seem like, it sounds like alchemy. It sounds like spiritual woo-woo. I'm trying to keep it as practical as I understand. I'm trying to explain these ideas in a way that I feel like is going to reach the most people and that people can really understand and absorb it as well as they can. But at the end of the day, how you feel is dependent on you. It's dependent on how you live your life too. Yeah, let me just talk about some habits real quick. How you're eating is going to affect how you feel. Like I said earlier, I know what kind of foods are going to make me feel bad, and if I don't know, I eat it and I be the observer to my mind and I see, how did this make me really feel? Is my stomach sick now? A lot of us aren't really that in touch with how we feel. I think a lot of us are completely closed off from our feelings, and we don't actually know how much we really should be feeling. And it's good just to practice. Like, I come down here and I'm like trying to see how this rock feels, and I feel the roughness of it. Like, as weird as that seems, it's good to practice that. It gets you out of your head, out of your mind, and touched into the reality. When you just feeling, you're listening, you're using your senses, you plug it into the world, and then you learn to internalize your senses so that you can see how you feel on the inside. You can see where your depression is, where your anxiety is, what thoughts have you been holding on to for too long. How can you let go of those thoughts? How is this thought making you feel? Can you replay that feeling? Can you zero in on the feeling? Can you bring it up so that you can finally let go of it and stop having it bringing you down? Don't tell me you don't have any trauma. As humans, we love to hold on to trauma. We're like, oh, this guy did this thing to me at this time, that girl did this thing to me at that time. They ruined my life. Look what kind of person I am because of it. But that little incident didn't affect you as a person. It affected you on that day. Maybe you're still traumatized. Maybe you have every right to be traumatized. But what you're doing when you're holding on to that trauma is you're just bringing yourself down over and over again. And it's like that person beat you and they won in your life on that one day. But why are you letting them, why are you replaying that incident so that they could ruin your life over and over again? And yeah, we all have trauma that makes us feel bad, and maybe you're even trying to avoid playing it and you're suppressing it, but I'm also telling you not to suppress it, but to bring it up, to face it for one last time, or to face it for one last time over and over again, so that this time though, instead of trying to suppress it, you really bring up, you dive into how it feels. You feel the horribleness, you feel the sadness, you feel the pain of it. Feel the pain of it, bring it up, and don't let your thoughts get attached to that pain, and you let it grow. Feel the pain of it so that you can finally let go of it. You can move on with your life, so you can finally be happy. I think I said a mouthful in this video. I think I'll leave it with that point there, because I think that's a powerful point right there. To bring up your past pain, you deal with it. If you don't know how to deal with it, well, I explained the basics of it. You let it bring up and you just kind of feel it and you just zero in on it. And it's like, there's this one time I had this experience where I was really bringing up my trauma, and it's almost like I felt like it exploded out of me, and I had so much that every time I thought about it since then, it just hurt me so much less. And also being happy wherever you are, no matter what, because you're not going to get to some point and then be happy. You're going to get to that point and then you're going to be like, okay, how do I be happy now? That's where he's going to be. Maybe you do get all the success you want, and then he's like, okay, but where's the happiness at now? How am I going to find it? And at some point or another, you're going to have to work on it. You're going to have to figure out how to find it for yourself. It's deep inside of you. It's still hiding, but that childlike happiness is in there. It's your God-given right, and I want this for everyone. I think there's a biker going by. I don't like going on my rants when people going by, but I should just get used to it. Bugs going around. I don't even want to end this video. I want to keep going, but this is Our World Shifted, where only your thoughts and your actions can change your life. I hope you take everything I taught here as instructions, everything I try to show you here as instructions, because you can watch this video over and over. You can learn what I'm saying word for word. You can know everything that I'm talking about here. You can do your own research. You can read more books. You can watch more videos. You could become the expert, that you can teach somebody how to be happiness, that you could snap your fingers and that person's going to be happy. But how are you going to be happy? By actually doing it, by going into your body, seeing how you feel, seeing the way you think, changing the way your brain thinks, changing the way your brain thinks. I'm gonna say that one again. Changing the way your brain thinks, rewire it to be more positive. Yeah, that's really cheesy to say, to be positive, but when you do it the right way, there's a lot of depth by it. I'm not telling you to force positivity. Is like, yeah, my life sucks, so let's be happy. I'm happy. Is this working? No, I was like, then why does your life suck? Look at your life differently. Don't let it suck anymore. Change. If you gotta change things, you gotta then change things. But if you can't change things, then learn to deal with it. Learn to be okay with it, so you can be happy anyway, and not let it bring you down anymore. I hope this video has inspired you to do something, anything. Change your life. Become a great person. We all have the potential in us to be the greatest person in the world. There's nothing different between anyone in the world. I speak all these things that I speak here because I've watched hundreds of self-help videos. I've read a few books. I'm gonna be honest, I don't read as many books as I should. I really watch a lot of YouTube videos about things like this because it's just easier, I guess. The books are amazing. If you have the time to read books, I honestly recommend you read books. There's Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, changed my life. Definitely, if you're having trouble with anything, and I mean anything, I think this is a book everybody should read. It really completely helped me change the way I was looking at the world, and finally see the light at the end of the tunnel and stop suffering. I do have videos. Bugs are telling me my video's up. Yeah, If you like the ideas I shared here, I have more videos like this. I can help you on your journey. I can help you reframe your mind. I share lots of ideas that have helped me change the way I view the world, change the way I feel about things, and also lots of ideas that have helped me get out of my own way and be able to grow as a person, be stronger, be smarter, more witty. I don't even know what to say at this point. I'm trying to force it too much. I'm going in my head. I feel like I should. It's like I just want to keep going and going and going. I just want to keep doing this, but I'm just gonna leave it again. Only your thoughts and your actions can change your life. And I hope I inspired you to at least do something today and do something every single day of your life to help yourself feel better, to grow as a person, to learn, to develop yourself, to become one with the universe and all that there is. You're not alone. We're all going through our struggles. We all have our problems, no matter who we are. Just because you get rich and successful and you get everything you want doesn't mean your problems are over. Your problems are over when you realize you have no real problems, and that the only problems you thought you had were you only thought you had them. And it was your mind that was creating the problems. Your mind is really creating all the problems. And if you can reframe the way you're looking at it, you can solve your problems. And when there's situations that you can't reframe the way you're looking at it, then reframe the situation. Do what you have to do every single day to make it a better situation. Stop wanting this like instant happiness and instant success, because it's just never gonna give you what you want. Where you're gonna get what you want in your life is when day in, day out, you get the slow work. People don't want to believe in slow process. People want to be lazy. It's not your fault. It's the mind that's telling you to conserve energy. The mind is lying to you. The media is lying to you. Everything is just, there's so many lies out there. There's so much BS out there. And it's like, it's time for us all to take control of our lives once again. Become human again. Know what it is to be human. Know what it is to be alive. Change your life step by step. Don't think you're gonna have a sudden flip. You're not gonna just watch that one video and your life is gonna be different. But if you're watching videos every day, you're reading every day, because you gotta keep reframing over and over. Like they say that when you're trying to get rid of like one bad thing, one bad thought, one bad habit, sometimes, most of the time, to keep it from coming back, you gotta replace it with a new one. And so keep replacing all your bad thoughts, keep replacing all your bad habits, keep growing as a person every single day, step by step. Don't think it's gonna happen over time, but do think that if you keep working on it and you get that 1% better every day, what's stopping you from getting to 100%? I love you guys. Have a nice day. Right now my shoes are soaking wet. Bugs are attacking me. I'm tired. I want to go home. I want to be lazy. But what am I going to think about 10 years from now? Am I going to thinking about how I push? Am I going to be thinking about how my shoes are wet, how I'm tired, how I'm hungry? Or am I going to think about how I pushed through and now look at the life that I have because I pushed through those struggles? That's what I want for you guys. Life is going to be hard. Life is going to be a struggle. But if you keep pushing through and you become that better person, that stronger version of yourself, there's nothing to stop you, because you didn't let anything stop you. Done. Right now I'm thinking about if I get back to my car, is there going to be a ticket there, because I kind of parked somewhere I shouldn't. But you know what, if I get to my car and there's a ticket there, that's good. That's more for me to push through. That's more for me to overcome. That's more growing and more developing. I could sit around being a little, you know why, or I could just do the work so I can get where I want to be, and so I could get there sooner. You want that instant gratification? Put in the time and work. Right now I'm recording 2 videos a day. I could record 1 video a day and let it take longer, but if I could do 2, get there twice as fast, why not do it? Done again.